Good morning and welcome. It's that time once again, the Patriot Radio News Hour, live from the Hole in the Ceiling studios in Deer Valley, Arizona. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the physical delivery of wealth insurance. If you don't know what that is, you better learn. Go to our website at allamericangold.com. It's where we keep you all comfortably disturbed, and we got all the articles, all the videos, the podcast, the Google, the Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTube, all that social media stuff, all right there at your fingertips at allamericangold.com. Of course, the shopping carts out there you can order online. We've got, if you want to do an IRA, and no, you cannot store it at your house. Don't believe it. You can try it. There's companies out there that will help you try to circumvent the IRS. I'll just tell you, and I'll try to do this at least once a month because it's still out there. The IRS has actually added to the tax code itself a whole little section specifically dealing with the quote-unquote store your gold at home IRA scam that has been going out there for at least 3, 4, 5 years now. But if you want to do it legally, we can help you do that. There's information there. Don't forget the metals plan, which as of today will be all done. Well, I guess let me correct that. Tomorrow will be the last of the shipping. So there's only like 3 or 4 boxes left, but that'll be done tomorrow. The metals plan for the first quarter of this year is done. If you want to join up on the metals program or learn more about it, that is out at the website as well. A really interesting couple of days. And listen, I'm going to tell you what's what and what isn't. The reason why you listen here is you're tired of being lied to every single day. And, man, the lies are coming out fast and furious once again today. We had the CBO numbers are out. Just, you know what, wow, I guess they would say 12 trillion. They went, I want to say it was 11.8. And I just laugh because we all know. You can just take that number and throw it in the garbage. If you go back and they've been doing these forecasts since 1993, these 10-year forecasts. And over that time, they have, it's such a bad, it's so bad. It would be their projections are the equivalent of Paul Goldschmidt's batting average right now. And for those of you that haven't been following the D-backs this year, because you're like, wait a minute, Paul Goldschmidt's a really good hitter. Yeah, not this year. At least not yet anyway. He's batting like 100. It's not very good. But if we took the average over the last, what is it now, 30 years? Well, not quite 30. 25. The number will put the federal deficit north of 40 trillion. I think they got it to like 33. That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. Then we had the Chinese president talk about the trade dispute that's going on, and he was giving a speech, is what he was doing. And, man, you would have thought that China just caved right in. The Dow's up 400 points. I'm going to tell you right now, I'll tell you what he said. I'll tell you who it benefited. And I'll also tell you what he didn't say. As a matter of fact, what they did say that wasn't part of the quote-unquote speech. So look forward to that. Very, very, I think it speaks volumes of what the United States can look forward to Then yesterday, remember, the Dow was up 400 points yesterday. Didn't finish up 400 points. Finished up 40 points as the, I don't know, the deep state machine. This time the FBI raided Donald Trump's personal lawyer, raided his home, his office, all this stuff, and I don't know. I'm so tired of hearing about Russians and porn stars and all the rest of it, and quite honestly, it's really a country divided. There's no unity here at home. It's a huge part of the problem, but really, quite honestly, you get more noise, just noise. When you look at Wall Street, every day, it moves hundreds and hundreds of points every single day. They call that volatility. What really happens if you watch and you understand markets and you forget about the BS, okay? Forget about trade wars, forget about porn stars, right? Forget about CBO and all that other stuff. When the markets behave in this fashion, it's always an indication of trouble. Just is. Bad things happen, right? Because something's broken. We don't always know quite what it is, but something's broken. I've got a good idea. There's a big story out there that nobody wants to talk about it. We're going to do that next. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. Yesterday, we were running $20 gold pieces at $13.35. We have right now 9 of those remaining. 4 of those are live here in Phoenix. 5 of them, right? I'm watching Wendy's giving me the hints. 5 of them are live in Colorado, so they are live in stock. We've got 9 of them left. Gold's up even more, so gold's up another couple of dollars, $13.39 right now on gold. So U.S. The $20 gold, we only got 9 left. 4 are in Phoenix, 5 in Colorado. 800-951-0592, U.S. $20 gold pieces, the 9 that are left at $1,335, which right this second puts them $4 under spot at 800-951-0592. If you want to take advantage of that, I suggest you do so and do so quickly. Now, I said before the break, there's something going on that nobody's talking about. And we're seeing this volatility in the markets, right? It's been going on for a couple of months now. And seemingly every single day the Dow moves, if you take ups and downs, hundreds and hundreds of points every day. And so it's always an indication. Matter of fact, you're hearing a lot of people talk about, hey, this looks like 1987, right? Or this looks like the NASDAQ bubble, or this looks like 2007, 2008. Right, where you see all of this volatility and the markets are giving you warning signs. And that's really what it is, right? And it goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. But it's always a precursor to down. Just what it is. Whether you want to do anything about that information is up to you. But why? What's broken? Right? Is Facebook broken? Is Amazon broken? No. It's not what's broken. And they try to tell you things like, well, it's rate hikes, or it's the Federal Reserve or it's the trade disputes. And right, every day they give you a new reason why the market's got to be so volatile. Right, today it's because President Yi in China said, hey, I'll work on the car thing. I'll get to that in a minute, by the way. Right, and they're acting like, oh, hey, yeah, what a great guy. Nah, not really. But that's not it. Right, and remember, we talk about it all the time. Right, they distract us. Right, the Trump's lawyer and the deep state and all that. Yeah, okay. We can delve into that, but I'm sure Rush and Hannity, they'll cover that for you. So what is it really? And remember what I've been warning you about. We're talking about the debt super cycle. We're talking about, just think about what the Congressional Budget Office really did say. Hey, $1 trillion deficits. Right? They estimate in 10 years' time, we're going to be paying $900 billion a year just in interest. Now, that's what their number. My number, right? And it's not even my number, right? The real number means we're going to be paying probably 1.2, 1.3 trillion just in interest. Something is broken in the bond market, and it's broken. In Japan, the central bank's efforts to boost the economy through extraordinary monetary stimulus are having unintended consequences. Few, if any, want to trade in Japanese government bonds. Now remember, this is one of those, the big carry trade, and they use the Japanese currency, the algorithms fire off every day as to whether it's good news, bad news. But here's what's real. The 10-year Japanese government bond did not register a single trade on March 13th, according to Japan Bond Trading, right? They're the ones that track it. Other government bonds also showed no trading activity on specific days last month. And the 2-year bond did not trade at all on Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, this isn't here yet. Like many major central banks, the Bank of Japan has been buying the country's bonds in order to stimulate the economy. The bank has taken more extreme measures, such as ramping up purchases to more than 40% of the market overall. Right? Again, why do central banks do this? The answer is they are trying to misprice the debt market. Right? And are they trying to misprice it by overstating the risk? Right? Like, this is really risky. No. Right? Of course, that would mean rates would be flying high, right? They'd be selling them. They'd be trashing them. They're not doing that. They're trying to misprice how? By understating. Slowly but surely now, institutions are starting to pay attention. It's saying that the yield curve on the government 10-year bond is around zero. Right? And I laugh because it's around zero. Who would buy it? Of course, and I've been saying it forever. Who in their right mind would lend somebody money for 10 years and get 2%, right, or 2.8, where our 10-year note is? Japan is zero. Really, it's probably a little less than zero. The yield curve control policy puts a fixed price, or puts a fix on the price. They own 80%. They're talking about the Japanese central bank owns 80% of the 10-year government bond market. So what's the point of trading it? As a result, traders are now messing around with bond futures, but are not actually buying any of the bonds themselves. The futures market is often used for trading in oil, gold, and agricultural products. You know, right? You hedge. Open interest, a measure of trading volume in the future, has been rising while actual physical interest has hit an all-time low. Monetary policy is likely to stay the same in the future. There are virtually no cash instruments traded in certain parts of the Bank of Japan's yield curve. We don't see suddenly reverting back until there is substantial change in policy. Well, that's one way. My gut feeling is, and why you're seeing all of this volatility, remember what we've been reporting here in our bond auction. Right? People, are they being sold? Yes. Are a lot of people there to buy them? No. Is the number of people putting in bids falling? Yes. Do we have a situation where potentially we could see nobody interested in buying? I think absolutely. Think about it in 10 years. You know I'm right. Here's the funny thing. Anybody that's been listening for any length of time, you know I'm right. If I'm telling you 40 trillion, you know. If I'm usually here's the difference between like me and the Federal Reserve or me and these idiots you watch on TV when they give their quote unquote forecast. I'm usually just I'm a little too optimistic. Here's what's funny. People think I come out and, Joe just wants to scare us. That's a load of crap. You know what? That's the farthest thing from the truth that I want to do. What I want to do is educate. We have an entire nation, right? Well, Japan used to be the second largest economy. Now the third largest economy in the world is now reporting not a day here, multiple days, where nobody is showing up to buy their bonds. And that the only buyer in town is the Bank of Japan. Now, nobody wants to talk about it. I know for a fact you probably have this the first anybody's even heard of it. That's why you listen to me. Is that the reason why the volatility's here in the United States? I think it might be. It's one of them. Because what is really the biggest thing everybody's worried about, really? Are we really worried about the big trade war? Not really. I mean, we only send them $130 billion worth of stuff. That's it. That's all there is. Right? And of that, soybean and pork is like 10% of it. Talking about the Chinese. Then they worry about the Federal Reserve raising rates too much. Well, why would they worry about that? Because we got a problem with the amount of debt that there's going on out there. Do we have any here? Yeah, we have here, but I only got one. Okay, U.S. 20s, one left in Colorado at 1335. 4 left in Phoenix. By the way, gold's now up 1340. So that's $5 under spot. There's 120 left in Colorado, 4 left in Phoenix at 800. 951-0592. Now, and again, I've been talking about volatility. You know the Dow was up over 500 points about 35, 40 minutes ago. It's now up 280. Right? These are insane type of moves. And when you start thinking about really why the volatility, why so much every day, we know, okay, what that means is, okay, there's a lot of issues out there, but there's something really broken, right? Nobody, was it bad? Was Facebook bad? Yes. Is Mark Zuckerberg totally detached from most of our realities? Of course he is. The guy's a genius, and he's socially awkward. He doesn't know. But when he's back in, wait, that's it? Everywhere? Okay, none in Colorado. Colorado, you can order them from me here. I just got to ship them to you. Or we'll make arrangements. I can ship them up to Johnstown. So there's still 420s left, 800-951-0592. But when you're talking to me about there's been days, not one, not two, not three, like 7, 8, 9 days where not a single buyer showed up to the Japanese bond auction, and that isn't being talked about, that's probably the reason.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, the conservative pro-family broadcast of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, a leading voice for the sanctity of life, traditional education, the Constitution, and American sovereignty. Now, here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
Title IX regulations have created a vicious cycle, discouraging men from enrolling in colleges that eliminated the sports they love. In 1980, equal number of men and women obtained college degrees, but today nearly 60% of college degrees are awarded to women. Under the interpretation of Title IX regulations, colleges are generally forbidden from having more sports teams for men than women. So if there is not enough interest in women's hockey or another large team sport for women, the college is not likely to start a men's hockey team. In the traditional Winter Olympic events of alpine and cross-country skiing in February, the United States men won a grand total of 0 medals. Today, there are more college women's ski teams than there are men's, perhaps again due to the impact of the proportionality test under Title IX. Olympic sports themselves have been emasculated by the International Olympic Committee, which even tried to eliminate men's wrestling from the 2020 Olympics. The IOC reinstated wrestling after an uproar, but still cut 56 positions, replacing them with events that include more women in the Summer Games. Women's figure skating remains popular to watch, but in a continuation of political correctness, the public heard this year more about the men's figure skating instead. Despite this, a large crowd did stay up past midnight on the East Coast to watch the exciting finale of the women's figure skating competition in Pyeongchang. Downplaying the overall nosedive in viewership of and interest in the Olympics, some commentators say it's merely part of a general trend in society. But the decline in viewership of football, still as masculine as ever, has been small compared to the bottom falling out of Olympic viewership. When the late Phyllis Schlafly spoke for the last time at Harvard, she was greeted after her talk by Professor Harvey Mansfield, author of a famous book entitled Manliness. If NBC executives hope to recoup the billions they invested for the exclusive rights to broadcast the Olympics, then they might want to pick up a copy of Mansfield's book. And the Title IX regulators might benefit from recognizing the greater demand for men's sports.
Thanks for listening to the Phyllis Schlafly Report. You'll be glad to know the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly continues, upheld by Ed Martin, president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Chairman Helen Marie Taylor, Treasurer John Schlafly, a full staff in St. Louis and our nation's capital, and thousands of citizen volunteers, her Eagles, across the country. You can be part of that legacy at phyllisschlafly.com. That's phyllisschlafly.com.
Crude oil spiking today. Saudi Arabia, throw this on the list of stuff, said, listen, we want $80 oil and we're going to get it. And guess what? The Chinese and the Russians, we're all on board together. Get ready. Prices at the pumps already the highest in years. I just saw unleaded gas futures. It's the highest I've seen. So I guess there's going to be going to get more expensive, so fill up now. So they want us to believe that this trade thing has been causing some tension, right? Let's face it, it doesn't help. I'll totally agree. It really doesn't, because, and remember what I keep telling you why the real reason is. China wants to replace us as number one, right? Remember, the issue is debt. China stops buying the debt. What's going to happen? Remember, yesterday there was a report out. Matter of fact, Zero Hedge, Drudge, you can see it. It's out there for yourself. I gave it to you yesterday. That people say China's already stopped. They've stopped buying at our auctions. Though I haven't seen data yet. As soon as I have them, I will give them to you as to how we're doing in our auctions. But now it just makes sense, doesn't it? The world's not just pulling away from us. Pulling away from Japan, right? Europe, right? All the old, what I'll call the old guard. And this morning they were all excited because in a speech last night, the Chinese president said, yeah, we can talk about these automobile tariffs. And I started laughing because I'm like, wait a minute. GM, Ford, Chrysler, they build cars there. They don't send cars. I mean, maybe they, send a handful of limited edition this or limited edition that. Do you know who the number one car exporter from the United States to China is? Because I do. And it's none of them. BMW exports the most cars from the United States. You know those plants that they built in the South that I thought were for here? Apparently they're not. 87,000 Beamers are sent to China from a plant in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It represents the largest amount of cars sent from the United States to China. By the way, Mercedes, they ship about 75,000 cars from their plant in Tennessee. Just all you'd want to know. That's who it's going to help or not help. And Tesla. Those three. Because Tesla, I think, not that, Tesla can't even make a bunch of cars, right? I mean, they struggle just to produce a couple thousand cars a day. But those three companies are the ones that export. When you add it all up, we're not even talking about a couple 100,000 cars. Right? It's nothing. Right? And of course, what did China do? Okay, we'll give you something. Here's what they didn't give. Anything that has to do with their Silk Road and their what they call their 2025 initiative. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you better go look. They're not out here playing tiddlywinks. Right? They don't care about a car tariff. Because you know why they had the car tariff there? It was pretty funny. They had it in place to force all the car companies to what? Build your stuff here. So what did our car companies do? They did that. They already know. They didn't say a word about intellectual property. They didn't say a word about wanting to not dominate the whole world with their 2025 initiative. Not a single word about IT, about AI, anything having to do with controlling the shores from the Atlantic shores of Europe to the Pacific shores of China. It was a made-for-TV event, right? And of course, oh, look at how great! Oh, look, they're so good. Look at please. I mean, I guess not really going to help Tesla. Matter of fact, Goldman came out today and said it doesn't matter. Tesla needs to go and raise more money. They're going to be broke before the end of the year. And maybe it helps a little bit, helps with BMW and Mercedes. Now, that is U.S. jobs. There's no doubt because they're in South Carolina and Tennessee. But I did not know that. So you learn something new every day. A couple of other things that came out today. One of them, not good, and the other one, really not good. Producer prices. Okay, this is what companies have to pay. Came in hotter than expected, right? This is the more rate hike thing. Unfortunately for us, it had nothing to do with wages. The biggest jump in producer prices happened to happen in food, particularly produce, which I did not know this, but they said producer produce prices were up 30%. I don't know if it was a weather thing or what, but that's what they said in the report. They actually said utility prices fell, and I don't know how that's possible with crude oil and heating oil and natural gas all super high, but that's what the report said. When you strip out food and energy, remember, they don't like food and energy. Even though we need to have it, they don't care about it. Prices were still up 0.3%, and actually year-over-year core was up 2.7%, so much hotter than the 2% they were looking for. Do you know what the biggest driver was? I know you don't, but I'm going to tell you. It happened in what they called finished goods. So when you hear something like finished goods, you immediately start thinking manufacturing, don't you? Right? Oh, well, the cost to build the widget got more expensive. Not quite. Nope, it had to do with medical costs. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. No one's going to the Japanese bond auction. Maybe that's why everything's so volatile. Less and less people seemingly coming to our auction. Yesterday, we were told that China has temporarily stopped coming. I don't know. Today, they followed up with a follow-up that reasserted the same thing. So it appears that way. Nobody's saying anything, right? Because let's say that'd be bad. Could you imagine the headline? China stops coming to U.S. Treasury auctions. Be down 2,000 points. Don't know. The NFIB survey was out today. Now, this has been one of those surveys where, where new record highs and all that stuff, right? This was the small business, right? And people were excited. And I don't blame, anytime you talk about, we're going to put more money in your pocket, people get excited. And we want the economy to boom and this and that. And unfortunately, a lot of times small business guys get duped. The new survey came out today. Huge drop. Let me go over the numbers. Plans to increase employment, 20%, 1 in 5. Plans to make capital outlays fell by 3 points, which is that's a lot. Plans to increase inventory also down at 3 points. Matter of fact, plans to increase inventories now stood at 1%. Expect the economy to improve. This was where the biggest decline happened. Fell 11 points and now down to 32%. Expect real sales to go higher. Fell 8 points. Percentage-wise was the worst drop percentage-wise, down to 20%. Current inventory fell 3 points and is now at -6. In other words, they ramped up, and now they're like, man, I'm not adding because I got too much. Current job openings, that was actually up 1 to 35. So there are jobs. Expected credit conditions fell 3 points and is now at -6. In other words, I don't think I can borrow any money. Now is a good time to expand. Down 4 points to 28. Earnings trend down 1 point and is now at -4. The total was at 104, and people say, over 100 is still good. But the biggest reason was the big dramatic reason was nobody, the fewest people in survey history said taxes was an issue. But when you really go through the report, I don't know. This is part of what has me worried. I don't know. Can we get 3% GDP? It's going to be close. The problem is I don't expect it to continue, and neither does anybody else. So that was the data points that were out today. Again, they want you to believe that China came out with some major concession or some big. It wasn't. The Colorado, or I'm sorry, boy, Wendy just handed me a note, so she threw me off. You totally threw me off here. Okay, so here's what we got now. In Arizona, now that we've got multiple offices, right? We got 20s here still, yes? No, what? We only had 4. How come we have 5 now? 4. All right, 4 20s here. None in Colorado at 1335. In Colorado, I do have 11 10s, and we're going to put those on special at 700. Yep, we're going to go 700 on the 10s. 11 of those live in Colorado as well at 800-951-0592. So 420s in Phoenix. Colorado, you can order them as well. Phoenix, if you want the 10s, you can order them as well. They're just in Colorado, and I'll have to get them here. But I've got 4 live 20s here, 11 live 10s up there. 800-951-0592. So we had producer prices hotter, right, which is going to hurt earnings. Then we had small business sentiment. Lipstick on a pig, right? So the Trump bump, if you will, kind of wearing off, and now we're faced with the realities. And small business finding out what everybody's finding out. No one's got a lot of extra cash. I mean, that's really just the problem. Nobody has a lot of extra cash, right? And everyone's, they're surrounded with debt. And I saw a number of people 32 and younger now, the lowest savings rate since they've been keeping track. And it makes sense, right? We've indebted everybody. Now Japan's reporting people aren't showing up to their auctions. Word on the street, anyway, it hasn't been confirmed yet that China may not be participating in our auctions. And we just got an update on bankruptcy filings. I'm going to share that with you in the final segment. Final segment, Patriot Radio News Hour, Chapter 11 bankruptcy filings spiked 63%. year over year in March to 770 filings. 770 businesses filing for bankruptcy in a single month. It's the highest number of filings for any month, going all the way back to 2011. And that number was 289. We just missed it. The last 6 Marches marked in red, and they said that last year there was 300 filings, and 3 to 350 is about an average. And we jumped to 770, and they said bankruptcy filings usually peak in April, so we'll have to watch for next month to see if that trend holds. They said that bankruptcy filings have been on the rise in 2017 and 2018, obviously focused in on the retail sector. We had another retail bankruptcy the other day, and I didn't even get to it. Where is it? I have it somewhere here. 9 West. They have now filed for bankruptcy holdings. They owe more than $1 billion. That's Ann Klein. In case those of you that don't know, 9 West and Ann Klein brands filing for bankruptcy. The plans to sell. They also have Bandito line, Aeropostale as well. That's a teen retailer. Juicy is another one of their retailers. So they got a lot of brands. Last year they had more than 7,000 stores total closed last year. They expect that number to be much higher this year. So the retail carnage continues here in the United States and around the world. The news of the day, depending on where you look, did China really offer to play nice, or was it a made-for-TV event? The Dow's up 370 points. Gold's up almost $4 at $13.40. Silver's up another 7 cents at $16.60. Last shot here, Silver Eagles at $3.90. I think that's $2.65 over spot. So Silver Eagles at $3.90. I can't believe it. I still got these 420s here in Phoenix at $13.35. 1110s. I've sold out of the 20s in Colorado. 1110s in Colorado at $700. 800-951-0592. That is the toll-free number. Call and place your orders. And like I said, if they're live, you can come and pick them up. If not, we'll ship them to you. 800-951-0592. Tomorrow, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens next. We'll talk about it, whatever it is. Don't change that dial.